I am proud to say that we've achieved 100% permit compliance for 18 consecutive years. We strive to innovate for cost-effective solutions in order to meet this permit. As such, I want to applaud the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources for taking a forward-looking approach to permit compliance for point sources, such as wastewater treatment plants. Today, we are here to celebrate this approach, which is called adaptive management. We are launching our new watershed program. This is particularly important given the great responsibility we all share to protect these precious waters. We cannot do this alone. I'm honored that so many partners and supporters have joined us on this journey. I'd like to extend a special note of gratitude to the Oneida Nation. Water truly knows no boundaries, and I am grateful for their commitment to our shared waters. I'd like to thank our many partners in water, almost too many to acknowledge in this event, but some of them include Brown and Outagamie counties, our many valued core collaborators, as well as the farmers and landowners for working together to conserve our natural resources. We have a great lineup of speakers and supporters today. U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin, Congressman Mike Gallagher, Wisconsin Senator Rob Kohls, Jeff Smuddy and Erin Houghton from New Water, and from the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources, Matt Clordy. I'll first introduce the video that we have from Senator Baldwin. U.S. Senator Baldwin, who represents Wisconsin in Washington, D.C., cannot be with us today, but she has recorded a message to help launch this event.
Hi, I'm Senator Tammy Baldwin, and I'm so excited to be with all of you today to launch New Water's New Watershed program. I apologize for not being able to be here live, but I wanted to send this message for this important announcement. Our Great Lakes are just that, so great, so expansive, that sometimes it's hard to fathom the scope of this resource of national and international significance that we are so blessed with. Western states, reckoning with their lack of water, look to our region with envy. And in fact, we've had to set up specific rules to prevent attempts to divert water from the Great Lakes. Landlocked states with bottlenecked infrastructure look at our incredible port resources and the regional economy that commerce on our lakes has made possible. And our access to safe and clean drinking water and recreation, these are the blessings of our lakes. But there are also a lot of challenges facing our lakes, from pollution, invasive species, to threats to water quality. Our climate is changing, and the challenges of protecting water quality are getting harder. Fortunately, we also have incredibly dedicated leaders like Tom Sigmund of New Water and Nancy Quirk, who has innovated with drinking water solutions in Green Bay and will contribute to national policy setting because of her leadership. We have farmers willing to test out new management practices despite the unknowns this brings to their profitability. We have private sector leaders ready to try out new permeable surfaces and other green infrastructure. And we have a community of these leaders who pull together for the future of our region and the health of our Great Lakes. I commend each of you for the important contributions you make to protecting our water quality and ensuring the Great Lakes have a better future because of the work done today. This truly is the work of local, regional, and international importance, and your leadership will help others to address the challenges they face. We all know how important the Great Lakes are to our economy and quality of life. I'm going to keep fighting alongside this administration to make sure they are protected. As your partner in the United States Senate, I'm proud to help preserve our Great Lakes for future generations.
Thank you very much, Senator Baldwin, especially for your leadership in this area. I'd now like to introduce our next speaker, Congressman Mike Gallagher, who represents the 8th District of Wisconsin in Washington, D.C. We are very grateful for his focus on improving water quality in Northeast Wisconsin, which he has done since he was elected to Congress. I'll turn it over to Congressman Gallagher.
Thank you, Tom. It's great to be with all of you today, albeit virtually. As you can see, I'm I'm in Washington, D.C., not in Northeast Wisconsin, but glad we were able to do this virtually. Thank you for everything that New Water is doing and the city of Green Bay is doing to keep our waterways healthy, and in particular, the new watershed project in Ashwaubenon and Dutchman Creek. It's very exciting. I don't have to tell anyone here today how important this project is, from tourism and recreation to agriculture and commerce. Industries across Northeast Wisconsin rely on clean water, on free and clear waterways to keep businesses moving. It's critical that we continue to work together as a region to improve and protect these important resources. And New Water and the Green Bay Drinking Water Utility are leading the way. And I'm proud of that fact, that I'm proud to represent you in Congress. And everyone participating has set the bar for water and natural resource protection in our state. And I think this demonstrates that Northeast Wisconsin really is at the leading edge of environmentally friendly practices that are also economically friendly. For example, just last summer, Green Bay Drinking Water Utility removed the last lead pipe in its service area, and New Water regularly partners with agricultural producers to implement conservation farming practices that build soil health and protect freshwater resources. And the newest endeavor, the new watershed program, is, in my opinion, just building on that legacy and another common sense strategy that will bring stakeholders from across our community together to help protect waterways in a cutting edge, cost-effective way for generations to come. Growing up in Northeast Wisconsin, I think it's sort of a double-edged thing, right? On the one hand, I think it might be easy to take for granted all the blessings we have, whether it's just the incredible resource that is Lake Michigan, just the incredible nature of our community where we work together to help people. But on the other hand, you're sort of surrounded in a way that it's hard not to understand the value of clean water, healthy waterways, and the importance of all the organizations that protect our natural resources. And so that's why I've made this a key issue for my work in Congress. It's why I was proud that we, in a bipartisan fashion, were able to secure historic levels of funding for the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative last year, at a time when Congress is, quite frankly, divided on a lot of issues. This has been a little oasis, pun intended, as it were, where we can actually get stuff done. And I'm very proud of that fact. And I will continue to do my best to be an ally here in Congress. So thank you again. I really believe we're blessed not only with an abundance of natural beauty in Northeast Wisconsin, but also public servants and professionals who have a passion for protecting these resources and proving that environmental and economic gain are not mutually exclusive in our region. And Tom, thank you for your leadership. I look forward to continuing to work with you. And thanks for letting me bore you for a few minutes here, and look forward to doing this in person at some point soon.
Well, Congressman Gallagher, thank you very much for taking some time out of a very busy schedule. In addition to the work that you've done in Washington, D.C., I wanted to make sure that the group understand the Save the Bay initiative that you have done to convene, to bring people together, to talk about issues that are important to all of us. And so thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
All right. The next person that we had was Senator Rob Kohls. And unfortunately, Senator Kohls wasn't able to join us today because there's a floor session going on. Matter of fact, it's happening right now. So he was disappointed that he was prevented from joining us in the launch of this program, but he did send us some written comments that we'll post on our website. And I'd like to just read a little bit from his written statement. While he's unable to speak to us directly today, he has been very proud of the discussions over the years that have led to reasonable and balanced efforts to progress water quality in Wisconsin's waterways. For those that know Senator Kohls, he is an environmental champion, and we greatly appreciate his leadership. What the thing that he has recognized is that further noticeable progress on surface water quality beyond what we've done so far needs truly outside the box thinking. This traditional approach that we've had of working with point sources is certainly going to get us progress, but not the kind of progress that he's talking about by working with other parties. He's also noted that he's pleased to see that our wastewater utilities, not just New Water, but across the state, are doing work to make a much larger impact on this particular region, while also saving ratepayers money in the long run. And New Water has certainly been a leader in this area. So these efforts will not only help to reduce runoff to improve water quality, but may also have a number of less tangible benefits, including greater wildlife habitat, reduced flood peaks, increased soil resistance, restored surface and groundwater interactions, and increased groundwater infiltration. And I'm going to read through the quote from Senator Kohls that's on the screen now. The intent of New Water's adaptive management program is one that we often hear articulated as a shared goal from leaders in public and private sectors alike, but rarely do we see these program ideas carried out with such detail and local buy-in. I believe that this will lay a good framework for success in Northeast Wisconsin. I'd like to thank Senator Kohls for all the work that he's done, all the support he has provided to this area, and all the work that he's going to do in the future. So next, it's my pleasure to introduce two members of the New Water team who have been instrumental in this, Jeff Smutty and Erin Houghton. Jeff is the Director of Environmental Programs at New Water, and Erin is our Watershed Programs Manager. I'm going to turn it over to Jeff and Erin to take us through the next part of the program.
All right. Hello, everybody. Thank you again for joining us today, and thank you for participating in our poll. Before we get going into our adaptive management review, I wanted to share with you just who's here in the audience attending today's event. So you should be able to see the poll answers on your screen. So what type of organization are you affiliated with? We have the most, 26% from state and local government agency, but we have a pretty good representation across all of our options here. So thank you for joining us. And then a little bit more of a selfish question that we had for all of you. What freshwater concern is most important to you? Thank you, by the way, for now saying excess nutrients and sediment. Hopefully this event wasn't biasing your answer to that. I secretly would love to pick all four. But yes, so thank you. We had 59% responding that excess nutrients and sediment were their top priority or most important, and pretty evenly spaced out between climate change and climate resiliency, or emerging contaminants of concern and wetland and habitat restoration. So thank you, everyone, for participating in the poll today. And as Tom said, my name is Erin Houghton, the Watershed Programs Manager with New Water. So I'll be talking with you a little bit about our adaptive management work today. All right. New Water sits at the mouth of the largest freshwater estuary in the world. And as a point source discharger, we have a responsibility to our receiving waters and to our community to care for the environment we all share. To help familiarize all of us with this geography in Northeast Wisconsin from a drainage perspective, the lower Fox River drains the Fox and Wolf basins, ultimately discharging these waters into lower Green Bay. The amount of nutrients entering the southern Green Bay from this system upstream accounts for about 1/3 of all nutrients delivered to Lake Michigan. Now, if we look at the land use breakdown of this region, we can also see that a surprising amount of land use is dominated by agriculture. There's also a significant urban development and a long legacy of industry that has impacted this region. The total maximum daily load has identified non-point source runoff as a significant contributor for total phosphorus and total suspended solids. A lot has changed in urban sprawl, and even agriculture has changed over time. We now have more cows, which means we need more corn silage. More corn silage means we have less residue on our agricultural fields. This leaves our agricultural fields more susceptible to runoff. All of this combined means we also have more manure on fewer agricultural acres as urban development continues to increase. Now, summing all of this together, really what it comes down to is that our issues in Northeast Wisconsin really drive our needs. Now, I want to thank Wisconsin DNR for offering the fact that we have alternate compliance options as a point source discharger. So in 2014, at the beginning of our last dischargers permit, New Water started the Silver Creek pilot project to assess the feasibility of an adaptive management permit compliance strategy. First, we looked at a model watershed, one that wasn't too big or wasn't too small. The Silver Creek watershed is about 4,800 acres, and it has impaired water quality. There were a lot of opportunities for us to work with Oneida Nation, Brown County, and Outagamie County to see how we could all leverage our different ideas and expertise. We had to develop a new implementation approach. Our team conducted field walks to identify resource concerns. We did a lot of best management practice planning, implementation, and then verification of that implementation. We also monitored for water quality and biological improvements to see real-time changes in the responses to the watershed improvements we were making. The team created advanced electronic program tools as well to support the needs of this innovative approach, such as GIS database, customized ArcGIS collector apps, automated workflow and report generation, as well to support our program needs. From early on, we also had a unique funding strategy established. We really tried to combine resources, primarily funding through New Water funds, but we also utilized and leveraged some NRCS funds, some grant funds. We were fortunate enough to get a substantial Great Lakes Restoration Initiative grant, as well as partner funds such as Ducks Unlimited and projects with U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. This pilot project effort relied on a diverse program team, and that was truly one of the best components to this pilot effort. And it included county staff, local agronomists, our consultant team, Oneida Nation staff, NRCS staff, USGS staff, Wisconsin DNR, nonprofits, and universities. However, none of the successes of the pilot project would have been possible without the amazing farmer engagement and participation that we had. Our program team was very intentional about engaging with each farmer throughout the process, including conversations with them about the specific practice needs and selections to meet their goals as well as our project goals, and then committing to verification and follow through with those farmers afterwards to make sure that they were informed and educated about what was going on. The Silver Creek watershed was located just west of the Austin-Straubel Airport, and about 48% of that land use was agricultural, just to give a little bit perspective of where we were working for that pilot effort. Moving forward, we will be continuing to do verification and inspections on installed practices in Silver Creek, as well as continuing to monitor for real-time water quality improvements over time. I'd like to now pass it over to Jeff Smutty to review more about our new watershed program for compliance going forward. Jeff.
All right, thanks, Erin. The graphic on this slide demonstrates the relative size and scale of the Silver Creek watershed. Outlined in teal in the upper left, you'll see that Silver Creek watershed area, and then Dutchman Creek and Ashwaubenon Creek watersheds, which are approximately 10 times the size of Silver Creek. The geographic proximity of these two watersheds benefits New Water by working with Oneida Nation, the same two counties, and several of the same landowners and farmers New Water worked with in Silver Creek. Of course, the size of this action area requires New Water to take a very strategic and thoughtful approach. Building on the success of the pilot, New Water laid out an adaptive management program that's been conditionally approved by the Wisconsin DNR. The plan has been written into New Water's draft permit, and this permit is out for public comment period currently right now as we speak. In this plan, we've taken what we've learned from the Silver Creek pilot project and applied it in a thoughtful strategy to meet reduction goals and water quality in the Ashwaubenon Creek and Dutchman Creek watershed over the next 4 permit terms. This new program will work closely with both rural and urban partners. We are already working with old and new farmers, the airport, the Wisconsin DOT, and many more, just to name a few. The primary goals of this program involve developing a diverse program team, achieving TMDL reductions of nearly 19,000 pounds per year of phosphorus and 4 million pounds per year of sediment, and then measuring water quality and biological improvements in the stream. New Water used the real costs from the Silver Creek pilot project to develop a financial model which demonstrates the cost effectiveness of this program, with an estimated cost of $40 million over the next 20 years. This program effort involves 4 5-year permit terms. The draft permit lays out the target reductions for each permit term as shown here. 25% reduction will be achieved during the first permit term, a cumulative total of 70% by the end of the second permit term, 95% by the end of the third, and 100% reduction and meeting water quality criteria by the end of the fourth. Modeling will be used to document the progress annually and during each permit term. Water quality monitoring will occur throughout the program to demonstrate success at the end of the program. Some notable milestones that have been achieved already involve development of a 9 key element plan for both Ashwaubenon Creek and Dutchman Creek watersheds, a complete stream corridor inventory, development of GIS databases and applications for use in the watershed, a successful agricultural kickoff meeting which generated significant interest from farmers and growers in the area, as well as over 7,000 acres of priority fields that have been walked and inventoried at this point. Adaptive management allows New Water the opportunity to meet new permit limits with a cost-effective method for more environmental gain in the Green Bay community we serve. Our current funding strategy involves leveraging New Water and NRCS funds, then seeking additional grants to assist with innovative implementation that benefit regional impairments. What makes this region and New Water unique is that we are located at the mouth of the Fox River, and several well-established watershed programs are already in place as a result of significant GLRI funds over the past 7 years. These programs continue to be successful and coordinate efforts together. These efforts include groups such as Oneida Nation, Brown and Outagamie counties, the Fox Demo Farms, Fox Wolf Watershed Alliance, and New Water. The wheels are in motion and staff is in place, and great things are already happening throughout the Lower Fox watershed, despite limited staffing at the county level. We have our financial backing. Our collaborators and momentum is here at New Water for this program and other programs in the area. We are so appreciative of the collaborations we've established from our pilot project and now moving into our compliance program. We also value the support of the Wisconsin DNR through the entire process thus far, and are excited to continue to work together as we move forward in our adaptive management program. Together, we can do and learn so much. So at this point, I have the honor of introducing our next presenter, Matt Clardy. Matt is the Phosphorus Implementation Coordinator for the Wisconsin DNR Wastewater Program. So welcome, Matt. I turn the mic over to you.
Thanks for that introduction, Jeff. Greetings all. On behalf of the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources, I would like to thank New Water for working diligently to establish watershed-based phosphorus and total suspended solids compliance program. New Water worked closely with DNR for several years to develop this watershed effort. Nutrient pollution is nationally recognized as a problem that the Clean Water Act has largely failed to address. In 2010, Wisconsin became a national leader in tackling that problem by adapting numeric phosphorus criteria for our lakes, rivers, and streams. The criteria and resulting total maximum daily load studies, or TMDLs, created a roadmap to clean water, but getting there is really another matter. The 2010 phosphorus rule also resulted in low phosphorus effluent limits for many wastewater treatment facilities across the state. Oftentimes, filtering effluent to remove all nutrients from the wastewater stream is very costly. Larger wastewater facilities, such as New Water's, already remove most nutrients from the effluent. Recognizing this, DNR has worked to develop alternative compliance strategies to help ease the economic burden associated with these low phosphorus limits. Watershed efforts such as New Water's recognize that nutrients are more readily and economically controlled on the agricultural landscape. By promoting and funding land stewardship upstream of their wastewater facility, New Water will realize greater environmental gains at a lower price point than the default path of filtering the effluent. New Water now joins 20 other permitted wastewater facilities across the state in implementing the adaptive management compliance option. Each of these efforts represents a local push for stewardship of waterways, sustainable agricultural practices, and measurable water quality improvement. We at DNR are excited about this effort and look forward to seeing the program get started.
Thank you, Matt. Certainly at New Water, and throughout this area. We do appreciate Wisconsin DNR being a partner in all of this. And we realize that the department also has a job to do as a regulator, but we appreciate the partnership that you've provided to us. We're coming near the close of our program here today. I'd like to thank all of our presenters and all of you who joined us today. We had a very large group participating. Well, thank you, Erin. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Matt, and all of the speakers that we had today. I want to thank you for sharing your time with us. And as has been mentioned throughout this presentation, this is a community approach. New Water just happens to be the one holding the permit, but we are incredibly fortunate to have some very dedicated partners who want some of the same goals for this community as New Water does. And we have been very fortunate to partner with them. And we look for opportunities to collaborate, new opportunities as we move forward. I want to thank you again, and I wish you to have a great day.